With this new Bima configuration, I'm going to have to remember to wear matching socks. Raise your hand if you've been to Hoover Dam in Nevada. It's pretty impressive, right? When the Hoover Dam was completed in 1936, it was by far the tallest in the world. It contained enough concrete to build a full-sized highway from one end of the United States to the other. It also was completed in less than 5 years. Druid Lake, a little closer to home, originally called Lake Chapman, was purchased by the city of Baltimore in 1863. The current lake was completed in 1871 and was made possible by constructing the then largest earthen dam in the entire country. It was 119 feet high. And it held 1 billion gallons of water, an extraordinary number. You may have noticed there's a small project happening across the street in Druid Lake. When complete, and believe it or not, I think they're actually on schedule, 1/3 of the lake will have been converted to enormous subterranean tanks. The bigger of the two will be the largest of its kind anywhere in the world. Both Hoover Dam and Druid Lake are examples of enormous projects completed within a tight time frame with impressive oversight by a massive workforce. And then there's Beth Am Synagogue. In less than 9 months, we've completed a multi-million-dollar renovation of our historic building on time, mostly on budget. Alexander Design Studios, Southway Builders, a force of sometimes more than 60 workers in a given day, worked 5 and then 6 days a week in cold and heat, uphill both ways in the snow, with impressive coordination and focus. David Rothenberg, Ed Hord, Jonathan Fishman all devoted countless hours stewarding the project, and all of this was made possible by you, about 84% of our congregation, and a few from beyond our walls that were inspired by our work here and are inspired by our work here, prioritizing our future in your philanthropy. I could go on, but let me say this. I can think of no better moment for us to say Shehechiyanu. So let's do it. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shehechiyanu v'kiyemanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh. And now that we've said it, now that we've done that thing that Jews do intuitively to express gratitude for achievement and renewal, I want to ask us, what was it all for? I don't mean why did we need a better sound system or a better learning or community space or a new kitchen. I'm not asking why air conditioning or the value of financial sustainability. I'm asking a different question, an existential question. What does this enormous investment in our future, our building, our endowment, say about why we are here, why this shul matters, why shuls matter? I think the answer is embedded in the Shehechiyanu prayer itself. There are 3 parts to the prayer. After the requisite intro, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Shehechiyanu for giving us life, v'kiyamanu for sustaining us, v'higiyanu lazman hazeh for bringing us to this moment. Actually, if you think about it, the last 2 parts are an expansion of the first. Shehechiyanu, you make us alive. V'kiyamanu, you keep us alive. V'higiyanu lazman hazeh, you kept us alive long enough to reach this very moment. Now, on Rosh Hashanah, we ask to be inscribed in Sefer HaChaim, the Book of Life. As you know, Judaism is a life-focused tradition, perhaps even a bit of a life-obsessed one. We wear a chai around our necks. We give donations in goofy amounts like $54 or $72 because these are multiples of chai. And when someone takes a life, or 11 lives, as a domestic terrorist did last October in Pittsburgh, or 3,000 lives, as international terrorists did on September 11th, 2001, our tradition considers each act of snuffing out a life as an affront to God and the destruction of the entire world. So where did so many of us go after the Pittsburgh massacre? We came to shul. And where did we go after 9/11? I bet a lot of us went to synagogue, because our natural inclination in moments of sorrow is to be in community and to find a safe and comforting space in which to ask our biggest questions. Why? How? What now? A couple weeks ago, on the high anniversary of 9/11, I was at a gathering of Baltimore leaders tasked with divining real, achievable, and sustainable solutions for Baltimore's many challenges. These were captains of industry, business leaders, faith leaders, social entrepreneurs, youth leaders, CEOs of public sector organizations and philanthropies. I'll tell you more about the initiative, which is called Results Baltimore, another time. But suffice it to say, I found myself sitting next to a woman, a fellow leader, who told me the following story, which she has given me permission to share. She grew up at a conservative shul in another state. She went to Hebrew school and celebrated becoming bat mitzvah. It was clear to me she had a strong Jewish identification, even if she didn't feel completely at home in shul. 18 years ago, this person did what many Jews did that Shabbat. She went to synagogue seeking comfort and community and answers for life's big questions. What happened to those people who were murdered? What happens after we die? Why are we here in the first place? What's the purpose of our lives? She went to synagogue, her home synagogue, with a broken but open heart, and the rabbi blew it. He acknowledged the tragedy, of course, and then dismissively explained to the congregation that these kinds of things happen in Israel all the time. And this intelligent young woman, seeking comfort and an opportunity to explore her biggest existential life questions, got up, walked out, and hasn't been back since, until today. And she's with us today. Why are we here? Why do we rededicate our shul for her, for you, for any of us who seek a deeper sense of meaning in our lives, for those who appreciate the rootedness of an ancient tradition and yearn to know those secrets, marinating in Jewish lived experience for thousands of years and what they might have to teach us? And then hopefully what we learn and experience in shul inspires us to live more fully in all the other moments. Shefa Gold, the Reconstructionist rabbi and composer, says about our prayer of renewal, if we are truly present, we could say the Shehechiyanu in every moment, because every moment is new and truly unprecedented. Unfortunately, we often get distracted or complacent, and we habitually miss the miracle that is right in front of us. This blessing, she says, is an opportunity to do tshuva, to return, and in returning, to bring attention back to the miracle of this moment, to the realization of the blessing of being alive, conscious, and receptive. Which is to say, we also come to shul to cultivate gratitude, to be filled up once again with nishmat ha'chaim, the breath of life, that which animated us in the first place. Shehechiyanu, we came into being. We were alive. V'kiyamanu, we have been sustained. We are alive. Shehechiyanu lazman hazeh, our entire lives, every single moment, every human interaction, every crushing failure and glorious achievement, every loss, every victory, each hour wasted on social media, every great book we've read, every kiss we've shared, every time we've held someone too close or at arm's length or just right. All these moments and countless more have brought us to this very moment. Right now, right here, in these walls, in this sanctuary, Hinenu, we are alive, we are here. But is this a given? That Beth Am will make moments worth remembering? How do we prevent, as the great British sage David Gilmour put it, ticking away the moments that make up the dull day, fritter and waste the hours in an offhand way, kicking around on a piece of ground in your hometown, waiting for someone or something to show you the way? 66 years ago, in the summer of 1953, Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel addressed the 53rd Annual Rabbinical Assembly Convention, the umbrella organization for conservative rabbis. At the time, the conservative movement was by far the largest movement, its synagogues bursting at the seams. Heschel's topic was the spirit of Jewish prayer. He said, "Our services are conducted with pomp and precision. The rendition of the liturgy is smooth. Everything is present, decorum, voice, ceremony. But one thing is missing: life. One knows in advance what will ensue. There will be no surprise, no adventure of the soul. There will be no sudden burst of devotion. He will attain no insight into the words he reads. He will attain no new perspective for the life he lives. Our motto is monotony. The fire has gone out of our worship. Do we not establish new edifices all over the country?" said Heschel. "Yes, the edifices are growing, yet worship is decaying." And then Heschel paraphrased Kohelet. "Ma she'ayahu sheyeh ve'en kol chadash bevet haKnesset." What is what will be. There is nothing new in the synagogue. So, my friends, what shall we do with this old new edifice? What shall we do with all the potential energy of this place? What shall we do for the woman I met earlier this month who was so deeply devastated by her rabbi's reaction in a national moment of crisis that she walked out for 18 years? Well, it's Rosh Hashanah. And on the new year, we say Shehechiyanu. We say it a lot. We say it upon hearing the shofar. We say it over candlelighting and kiddush. We say it and we wear new clothing. We say it and we eat weird and weird-looking fruit. Also weird-tasting fruit. We're obsessed with it. But in the Machzor, this day is not called Rosh Hashanah. Do you know what it's called? Yom HaZikaron, the Day of Remembrance. Rosh Hashanah is about looking back as much as it is about looking forward. It's about confronting our past, the past year and beyond, the years that led to this past year. And in that sense, it's about our family's past, our people's and our nation's past. It's having the presence of mind to take a sober look at the somewhat Pyrrhic victory that was institutional conservative Judaism in the early years of this historic building, which was constructed by one of its flagship congregations. And it's having the courage, even in joyous moments like Beth Am's moment of renewal, to avoid complacency, to point us back toward life's biggest questions, even when simple answers are not readily available to us. Just after 9/11, Miriam and I bought a poster created by the artist Brian Andreas. You might know his work. You see it in in gift shops, art galleries, crafty kinds of stuff. The poster depicts two twins, sort of people, tall like towers, holding hands with hearts connected by a line. And the caption reads, "In those days we finally chose to walk like giants and hold the world in arms grown strong with love. And there are many things we will forget in the days to come, but this will not be one of them." What shall we say this year? That we have not forgotten. We haven't forgotten how to love. We haven't forgotten how to hold the world in its complexity, to cleave to one another, and all of our brokenness and pain. In this national moment dominated by pettiness and small-minded people, we must proclaim that we have not forgotten how to walk like giants. Let us stand instead for life. Last year on Yom Kippur, as we prepared for our major renovation, I said to you, we are blessed with a stunning historic building that will be more stunning in 2019, but our building doesn't define us. If we are not enough without it, we can never be enough within it. This past year, we proved that we are more than enough without it. Now it's time to make ourselves worthy of the investment that we've made. Last year I said from this bima, well, back there on the bima, our building matters because it is the container, the hub of our congregational life. If you come most evenings and weekends, this place is a hive of activity. Jews, non-Jews, older, younger, business meetings, community gatherings, classes, and so much more. We are bound to this building, and our building is bound to this community, I said. Our very presence here demands of us that we should be relevant, active, and constructive participants in the life of our neighborhood. And now, my friends, we've come home. One final story. A man brings some very fine material to a tailor and asks him to make a pair of pants. When he comes back a week later, the pants aren't ready. 2 weeks later, the pants are still not ready. Finally, after 6 weeks, the pants are ready. The man tries them on. They fit perfectly. Nonetheless, when it comes time to pay, he can't resist a little jibe at the tailor. You know, he says, it took God only 6 days to make the world. And it took you 6 weeks to make just one pair of pants. Ah, said the tailor, but look at this pair of pants. And look at the world. Betham, this is one nice pair of pants. Say Shehechiyanu. You've earned it. Now, mindful of our past, let's make a commitment to our future. Let's say right now, right here, that our job is to fill this space with life. Let that be our metric, our North Star. If it's not life-affirming, life-fulfilling, life-improving, occasionally even life-defining, we won't do it. The world is tough. The country's a mess. Our city is struggling. But this moment, this very moment, a moment made possible by countless moments in each of your lives, and those lives made possible by countless moments before that, let us summon the strength and wisdom and vitality of a people who 98 years ago built a house on Utah Place and 45 years ago rededicated that house for the people, and this year proclaimed in Heschel's words, as we put on our fancy new pants, we're ready for an adventure of the soul. Shana Tova.